Marketing is about values.
Nike didn't call me and sell me this in a catalog. I bought this swoosh because it's ingrained in my soul.
When you have a product that really resonates with customers, the word of mouth grows like wildfire.
Welcome to the Marketing Max Show. Now, let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Marketing Max Show. We're going to be talking about 10 high converting tagline templates that you can steal. I already added these to my marketing swipe file in Notion because I saw it in Max's newsletter this week. So I thought I've got to pick his brain and unpack them a little bit more for you guys. You can add them to your swipe file as well. Before we get into that and break down a huge brand that grew really fast in just about 2 years, we're going to make a bet with you, as we always do every week here on the Marketing Max Show. We're going to give you 5 seconds to subscribe or follow the show anywhere that you are hearing the sound of our voice or watching us on video. Hit subscribe or follow. And if by the end of the episode you don't get any value, you can ream us out. You can look me up, Logan Lyles, on LinkedIn. Let me know how bad the show sucked. You can hit up at Marketing Max on X and let him know, terrible episode, I'm unsubscribing. But you got 5 seconds to take that bet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with that, we're getting right into it. So Max, I was reading Growth Hacks Weekly Sunday, as I always do. And I loved the my 10 high converting tagline templates that you can steal. Tell me a little bit about why you wanted to share that one this week, and then we'll jump into each of them, my friend.
Yeah, well, just like everyone listening, I am an entrepreneur and a marketer, and am always trying to find the main, what I call hero message, or the main thing I can possibly say to my target customers to get them to kind of perk up and lean forward and book a call or show interest in some way, shape, or form. And I've had this really good tagline for the last 3 or 4 months for my new lead gen agency. But about a week and a half ago, it started tanking. Like the conversion rate on the landing page started tanking, and I haven't changed anything. So I said, hey, it's time for a refresher of the tagline on our landing page. Let's see if we can find something a little bit more compelling, a little bit sexier, that will get more people who land on our landing page, maxes.team, www.maxes.team, to book a call and hopefully become a client so we can help them generate a bunch of leads. So I've had this list of, there's like 50 in there, but like really the top 10 tagline frameworks that are really like Mad Lib style. So you can kind of fill them in. We'll walk you through them here. But as I was going through them myself, I said, hey, I've never actually shared this with the 100,000+ people who read Growth Hacks Weekly, who read my newsletter every single week. And I might as well make that the Growth Hack of the week. So here we are. And now we're translating that into the podcast.
Exactly. Content repurposing at its finest, my friend. All right, let's I think we can run through these. I don't think we'll need 5 minutes to unpack each one or anything like that, but let's give each one a minute or so. So number 1, we help target audience achieve outcome. So those last 2 pieces are your fill in the blank. We help is basically the templatized part, and then target audience achieve outcome. Outcome being the key word. I think that's where you could go wrong with this one based on me knowing you for the last year or so, what you would probably say. But what would you add to that one and where it works well?
Yeah, the most obvious thing is the outcome, or that's where I think a lot of people will go wrong. They say, we help X with our, and then they describe the product. So
or do this thing, right?
X, we help X do this thing would be a huge mistake compared to the outcome. But I think where a lot of people might go wrong, or just really why this one, or I guess a different part of it that's important, is the target audience. I think by explaining who your target audience is, it's the best kind of filter you can use to filter out the people who may not be your target audience, and the best signal to your target audience, say, oh, they specialize in helping me. And the reason why this is the number 1 tagline template out of the 10 is because this is the exact template that I used with my old agency. We've talked about a ton. If you're new to the podcast, you haven't heard this before, but we talk about it a lot. I built my last 7-figure ad agency on the back of one tagline. The moment I introduced this tagline on our website, in our ads, in the footer of our emails. I had it printed on pens. The moment we had that, everything changed for us. Like we literally 2x our revenue in like 60 or 90 days.
And what was that
And
tagline?
that
for
tagline
new
was,
listeners? Yeah.
we help Shopify brands make $4 for every dollar they spend on digital ads. And the reason it works is because we say Shopify brands. So the only people that would actually book a call with us or get on the phone with us would be Shopify brands, because we signal that, hey, we specialize in helping you. We don't specialize in helping any company get 4x ROI on their ad spend, right? We specialize in helping you. So we know kind of the ins and outs of your business, where you struggle. We know how to make this work for you.
Yep.
Right. And that's really important, that context. But then the outcome, if you land on like 99.9% of agencies' websites, it's like, we help companies grow with inventive strategies, or we handle your marketing so you don't have to, or whatever. All people care about is, what is the outcome of the money and time that I invest with you, right?
Yep.
If you go invest in the stock market, right? A lot of people these days, they're putting their money in the S&P 500. Why do they put the money in the S&P 500? Well, obviously it's one of the most secure investments and safest bets you could possibly make. But the main reason behind it is because on average, the S&P 500 has gone up, I forget the exact number, but 7 or 8% every year for the last 50 or 100 years. So people are putting money in, expecting or hoping some specific outcome. And for everyone, that specific outcome is, yeah, okay, I'll make 7% or 6, whatever the number is, 6, 7, 8% every year. That specific outcome. What is the actual outcome that your target customer wants when they put in their time and money with you? So that's why this works so well. You qualify them right away.
Yeah.
You signal to your core ICP, to your core target ideal customer profile, that you know the ins and outs. You've helped them. You've helped similar businesses. And then you tell them you can help them achieve what they want.
Right.
That's
and
why
I think, like, to your point, to kind of bring this one full circle, and I think it bears, spending a little more time on this number one, because it is number one on the list. We should have done it in reverse order if I was really on my game as a podcast host today, but we're delivering value early. You took our 5-second bet, right? Like, take the example of a marketing agency. Like, we help your business grow, right? Or we handle marketing so you don't have to. Especially that second one makes you sound very replaceable, right? If you can do it so I don't have to, then it's just a labor thing. It's just a time thing. It's not an expertise thing. What some people do is they're like, we're going to niche down as an agency. We're going to pick an industry and we're going to pick a channel, right? We are a Facebook ads agency for e-commerce brands. And so you could have easily stopped at, we help Shopify brands run Facebook ads, or we run Facebook ads we help Shopify brands, run Facebook ads better. But you didn't just talk about what you do, you talk about what they achieve with you. So just think about that in your own context. Maybe that's kind of a like good, better, best, or, maybe it's bad, worse, and then really good. Anyhow, we broke that one down enough. All right. Number 2 is your product or service that, product or service that helps you desired result without common pain point. So I think this one is really good, especially for an established industry, right? Where it's just like, you can't just say that you help in this industry achieve this result. It's like, we help grow revenue. Well, everybody says they grow revenue, right? But what's the gotcha typically? So you're almost like calling out the gotcha in the tagline. Is that fair to say with number 2?
Yeah. Product or service that helps you achieve result without doing common pain point. So if the complaint that a lot of people would have, to your point, the industry, if everyone else is saying the same thing, but secretly everyone is complaining about a particular thing. Well, I love cold email, or I really want cold email, but I don't want to wait 4 weeks to warm up the inbox. Right.
Yes.
Well,
that's a good example.
We're the only lead gen agency that helps you generate more leads or get 5 qualified leads a week without waiting 4 weeks to warm up your inbox.
Yeah.
And Logan and I always kind of default to agencies in a lot of our
examples. Yeah.
But I think let's challenge ourselves to be a little bit more, outside the box, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Or not even outside the box, just, for other other services.
I mean,
other
you could do
products,
that. Like,
industry.
so a SaaS example for this one is like, you know, project management platform that helps you increase team efficiency without a 60-day onboarding or without losing a lot of your data in migration or
Yep.
something like that. Right.
Love
So
that.
there we
Yeah.
go. We got a SaaS example. All right. Number 3, I'm going to keep that in mind. The easiest way for a target audience to achieve X result. So I like this, like the easiest way. It's like, there's a proven path to follow here that you're kind of lighting for somebody as you use this tagline, right?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to something I talked about in the last episode, which is like make a claim and then back it up. So,
Right.
like you said, Logan, this is the easiest way, shows that there is a way and other people have deemed it easy. So this is the easiest way to handle your payroll and, you know, with solution, with global contractors, right?
Mhm.
This is the easiest way to handle payroll with global contractors, right? You have to then, in your landing page or in your case study deck or sales material, whatever, back it up with 10 testimonials of people saying, it used to take me 3 hours, now it only takes me 30 minutes. Or this truly is the easiest way. Like, this is a perfect example where you make a bold claim. This is the easiest way to generate leads that help grow your business. And then here's 20 case studies or here's 20 examples of other people saying how easy it is to generate leads using this method or using this agency or using this team or using anything else.
Yeah, I like this one because it goes hand in hand with what we were talking about last week about farming for social proof. Because if you make a bold claim that's very specific, like it's easy to use, it's fast to onboard, no migration headaches, right? Your users will adopt the software, you'll achieve results in 4 weeks. Now it's like, okay, now I probably have at least one example or one customer testimonial to back that up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the claim, at least hopefully not. Hopefully we're all honest marketers listening to the show, right? Not calling anybody out, but it's like, now you're like, sweet, I have my marching orders to try and go get testimonials that back up this very specific claim and this specific result. And it makes it a little bit easier for you to go target it and make that ask. And as we talked about last week, it makes it easier for your customers or your users, your clients to give you that feedback because you're making a very specific ask.
Well said.
All right. Totally. Number 4, action-oriented verb, your pain point with solution. This one might be easier to kind of read out an example because it's a little tough with the fill in the blank just audibly. So an example would be solve your lead gen problem forever with Max's proprietary lead gen funnel, trusted by 40 plus smart businesses. So obviously you've used this one yourself, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. Well, for context, for those of you that don't read the newsletter, I literally filled in Mad Lib style each one of these 10, put them below the template. And then at the bottom, I asked people to choose which one they think would convert the best. And then in a week or two, I'm going to drop the one that actually did convert. I'm currently running an A/B test with all 10.
Yep.
And so for this one, like action-oriented verb, like solve or start or join, right?
Improve.
Improve. So in this case, solve. I love solve.
Right.
One of my favorite words. I don't know. David Ogilvy had this list of like 20 magic words. I don't know if solve is on there, but it should be. Anyone who's listening, you can Google David Ogilvy magic words because there are certain words that just like stand out. They really just are like magic, you know? But solve your lead gen problem forever with Max's proprietary lead gen funnel, trusted by 40 smart companies. This is not exactly the template, but it's most of it, right? Like action-oriented verb, solve, and then your pain point. Solve your lead gen problem forever. That's the pain point. With Max's lead gen funnel, I added some social proof there. I added trusted by 40 smart businesses. But the main point of it is to use, a SaaS example, since we're trying to be a little bit more, or let's do an e-commerce example, right? Like solve your, I keep seeing ads for this because my dog scratches his ears. He always gets ear infection. So it's like solve your dog's ear infection problem forever with Max's long-lasting earwax. I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, I was selling toothbrushes last week in our examples. You're selling dog ear cream this week. And
Hey, if it works, it works.
hey, that was a good tagline because we had a dog for a while that just suffered with chronic ear infections, and it's like that
Did you
word
just solve
solve.
it? Did you ever?
No.
No, we were about to
the-
transition this into a pet podcast.
Yeah, we just gotta keep going. What was I gonna say there? Oh, like especially if you know that your target audience is not just struggling with a one-time thing. This is something recurring that they face quarterly or weekly or daily. If you can use the word solve accurately to make a claim that you can back up, then it sounds final. It sounds resolved. It sounds like this thing has been bugging me, and maybe even a stronger word than that. This thing has been plaguing me for a long time. If I can end it, if I can solve it, if I can close the book on that, man, I will give you my money. Right? That is that is what you elicit emotionally when you use the term solve. Or use
The thing I always tell clients is like, what is the thing that your ideal customer is waking up wanting to solve every single day? Like everyone wakes up with like, shit, I really need to find SEO agency because all my competitors use SEO. Like finally the SEO, your tagline would be like, finally the SEO agency you've been looking for, right? If that's like the one thing, then great. Or if it's, man, we really need at least 20 more good qualified leads next month. Okay, we're gonna get you 20 qualified leads next month. Obviously don't lie and say what it doesn't happen, but like tie what you do back to a thing that someone wakes up, or I should say a problem that someone wakes up wanting to solve every single day, because then your tagline could be solve your X pain point with solution.
Yep.
I think
Absolutely.
that's it for number 4.
All right, we're gonna hit number 5 and 6 because I think they're both kind of talk about outcomes. So number 5 is a number or stat backed way to achieve outcome, right? Like when I was writing some titles for our upcoming webinar to share our webinar framework, I didn't lead with, hey, we can help you run a better webinar playbook, right? It was the stat backed piece of it was we 5x the number of sales calls per webinar registrant, right? So the 5x way to convert more leads with your webinar playbook, right, would be, maybe a way to do number 5. And then number 6 is start and stop. I love. These are great. Like these are also just good content generators. Like if you are a marketer trying to get content out of your CEO or some SME internally, ask them, what should people stop doing and what should people start doing? And just listen to them talk. It's going to generate fodder for your ads and your content all day. So number 6 though is stop undesirable behavior or result. Start positive outcome with solution. So it's like you start with the pain and then you paint the picture of the future and you're like, what is the way to get there? Oh, by the way, it's our solution. I really like this one. What are some good examples maybe in number 6?
Yeah, well, I will say this is actually the one that's number 2 on the leaderboard right now.
Okay.
I won't give away number 1, but this is number 2 because to your point, stop is strong. It gets people to stop literally scrolling or emailing and kind of like their ears perk up a little bit, to keep the dog analogy going. Hopefully they're not ear infected. Hopefully they're not infected ears. But the tagline that's working really well for us is stop generating cold leads. That's the first line of the tagline. And the reason I think it works so well is because the biggest pain point that a lot of our target customers have is their leads often ghost them, or they fill out a form and they don't book a call, or they book a call and they don't show up. Like it feels cold. They ghost them, right? And so it's like, stop generating cold leads. Oh, well, yeah, I don't want to generate cold leads. I would like to stop, but I don't know how to solve that. Like,
yeah.
Start generating X amount of qualified leads a month with Max's proprietary lead ads funnel. And that is I'm looking at it right here. I have like the 10 on my left screen and the 10 live in Unbounce, my favorite landing page tool, on my right. And that is currently number 2. But the one thing I will say is like, I didn't really know that the number 1 pain point our customers face, and not all customers, but our ideal customers face, is the ghosting of the leads, the low show up rate, and the everything else that they get from their cold leads in the other strategies that they use.
Yeah.
We proactively, my account manager proactively reached out to all of them and said, hey, like, what's the biggest difference between the leads that you were getting before and the leads you're getting now? And they're like, hey, well, the leads I was getting before, like, show up rate was crap and everything was just cold. Like, they didn't show up to calls. They didn't book calls. Like, they'd fill out a form saying they were interested, but they didn't book the calls. Like, this is the opposite. This is warm. This is warm and a lot of warm leads. And so, yeah, it's easy now that I have these templates, or now that I resurface these templates from my old VIP swipe file in my Notion doc. It's easy for me to plug in, stop generating cold leads. In fact, thinking out loud, I should probably use this angle in other taglines to test. This is the only out of the 10 that I'm using, like, cold leads being the problem. So
and I think it's a good example of what we were talking about earlier, right? Because in doing lead gen and that sort of marketing for folks, like, it's no longer going to stand out and it's going to be distrusted or mistrusted, whichever one is right there. People aren't going to trust it by just saying, hey, we're an agency that helps you grow. We're an agency that delivers leads, right? Every LinkedIn DM is saying that, right?
Yep.
And so if you were in kind of a more, a newer market or one that was less saturated with what you're doing, you might be able to just say, we help you achieve this type of client, achieve X result, right? Like, number one often is like the go-to, if you go back and listen to how we broke down number one. But if you're in a more mature market, a more saturated market, then you've got to assume people have tried other things to solve it. And you can speak to that with the stop language. It's also, you got to really understand your customers here. I think we should copy and paste these like down into the description of the video or the show notes for this episode for folks as well. Just a note for the team there. All right. Number 7 has some good contrast to it as well. So helping target audience go from current state to desired state. So this is kind of similar of like undesirable result to positive outcome. You're talking about like the old way versus the new way, the current state versus the desired state. Talk to me about this one and how it's effective.
Yeah. So for us, we didn't necessarily go with cold leads, but a lot of our clients, they say like, we don't have leads. And so the sales term is pipeline. So we said helping B2B service firms go from dry pipeline to a steady stream of X amount of qualified leads every single month.
Yeah.
For a software business, that might be go from, 5 hours a week spent on manual tasks for whatever on I don't know, one-on-one reports to a quick email that you need to approve or something.
Yeah.
So like helping you go from current state to desired state. We talked about this in a previous episode, the 7 ad frameworks.
Yeah. Oh,
right? The bridge, like this is like, hey, you're currently here. We're the bridge to help you get there. We're the bridge to help you get to the desired state, what you really, really, really want. Mm-hmm. So all of these things really come back to what is the thing that your ideal customer profile is waking up every single day wanting, right? And so like if you're Calendly, I'm just thinking of like another software, right? If you're Calendly, right, the tagline for this would be helping teams go from 3 hours a week scheduling calls to 0 minutes a week scheduling calls.
Right. Or like Loom. That's we broke down Loom's positioning, a few weeks back on the show, right? Helping teams go from, meeting madness to 5 free hours a week, replaced by Loom videos or whatever. I'm sure we could workshop that a little better, but we're getting more examples and outside of marketing agencies as well. All right. Number 8 is fun because it's like almost portrays or positions your target audience as the hero of the story. And anybody who's listened to me on the podcast or elsewhere knows that I'm a big fan of the story brand framework. I teach people how to use that messaging on your website, your marketing campaigns. And if you're using this phrase, number 8, so it's the tagline template is your unfair advantage for key activity. It's like, all of a sudden, the story is not about the brand. It is about you as the buyer or the consumer. Because who needs an unfair advantage? you who are trying to win, right? You're trying to climb the mountain, you're trying to slay the giant, you're trying to do whatever, right? You need an unfair advantage, right? And so I love this, your unfair advantage for, XYZ. So it could be your unfair advantage for building a healthy team, your unfair advantage for increasing efficiency in your warehouse, your unfair advantage for delivering leads to your sales team, whatever the case might be. So I really like this one. It kind of got me fired up. I didn't see it coming, but is this one up there at all? Or where's it sitting in the rankings right now? I'm curious.
For me, it's pretty far down there. I think it's, let's see, it's 7th. And that's just because I don't think I did a good enough job of figuring out what that key activity is. I just basically replaced key activity with outcome. So it was like your unfair advantage for generating X amount of qualified leads every month.
Yep.
Like it should have been your unfair advantage to, it should have gone deeper. I'm just thinking and totally spitballing out loud, but it should have been like your unfair advantage to packing your sales guy or sales team's calendar. Like, you want to pack your sales team's calendar, because if not, your sales team's begging you and begging and bugging you like, hey, where are the leads? Where are the booked calls?
Yep.
So I think taking, as my father would say, taking the extra split second to really figure out what it is that your target ICP wants. Yes, they want, in my case, qualified leads, but I should have maybe replaced it with like the cold leads, like your unfair advantage for turning cold leads into warm leads.
Right.
Something like that.
It's usually about just going, like, to your point about the split second more. It's about going one layer deeper. It doesn't mean you always have to go one more, but usually wherever you're at, just think one step more. It's like the old saying, people don't buy a drill because they want a hole in the wall. They buy a drill because they want to hang a photo. Right? The hole in the wall is just a step there. But then you could go one layer deeper. You could say people don't want to just hang a picture. They want to create a great environment and turn a house into a home. Right? Then you've just got to think about, okay, well, where are people at today? How does this messaging compare to what they're used to? Not that you need to, blend in and do what all your competitors are doing, but then you take in some of those market considerations that we were talking about earlier. But like taking 1 second more, going one layer deeper and asking like, but why, will usually give you maybe that's actually not the key activity. That's actually not the desired result or the desired endpoint. It's one step further. So food for thought. All right, we've got 2 more, and I think we'll round out the list. I don't know if we'll have time to break down the multi-million-dollar brand in 2 years today, as we were thinking about as well, but we'll see how far we get. All right, number 9 is basically product or service, because, and then insert provocative belief or pain point. I like this one because it can be very punchy. And if your brand has a point of view, this is a great place to use it in this tagline framework.
Yeah, I mean, my new agency / lead gen service is called Max's Team, because it is my team that generates the leads for you. So it's Max's Team : because lead gen should be easier. I think this is another one where I could have taken the extra split second to go one layer deeper and find something a little bit more compelling, maybe even stuck with the cold, like Max's Team because lead shouldn't go cold. That would have been more compelling.
Well, this is fun. I'm liking this live workshopping. So like Max's Team because leads should show up to calls with your sales team, because your sales team is tired of cold leads. Maybe something more like interpersonal, like emotional, like, because you're tired of your sales team complaining about cold leads, or like something like that. Maybe some version of those two. Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to re-listen to this and try all of these. And maybe, I mean, I have at least 150 or 200 visitors to each of the landing pages, each of the 10 so far. So maybe I'll kill some of them and try those. I like that. I mean, the problem for us, if we are going to workshop it live, the problem for us is really 50% of our clients have a full-time salesperson, and the other 50% it's the founder. And so that comment I was making earlier about like you want to speak to your ideal customer. In a perfect world, our customer does have a salesperson.
Yeah.
Right. That just shows that they're trained. And you would think they're trained.
Yeah,
They're better.
systems
They have the
taking
time to
on
follow up.
more
They don't have
leads. Yeah.
100 million things, 100 different plates spinning in the air. So in a perfect world, I would love to say and lean harder into the team aspect, the salesperson aspect. But on the other hand, 50% of our clients are the founders taking the calls, and they're pretty good at it themselves. So I don't want to alienate one or the other.
Yep.
But yeah.
And that's, man, oftentimes at Business Builders, when we're consulting clients on their messaging and talking about how that's going to translate into their homepage copy, we have this struggle of like, the narrower we go, the more we're going to isolate some people. And sometimes you have to kind of hedge your bets if you don't really know. But one of the things then I often push clients to is like, well, there's a reason that ICP is not just customer profile. It's your ideal customer profile. So like, if we're like doing this live and I'm coaching you, which usually you're the one coaching me, so take it for what it's worth. It's like, well, if Max's team really does serve folks with a sales team better, then maybe you do lean into that messaging because you will win a higher percentage of those folks. And what you lose in the folks where you're booking calls with the CEO, it's like, those people are going to churn faster. They're not going to convert it as higher rate. You're not going to get as many testimonials from them. There's a number of factors there, so we won't workshop all of that, but just some thoughts as we go, thinking out loud. Awesome. All right, number 10, we'll round it out, and then I think we'll wrap from there. But number 10, finally, it starts like this. Finally, a product category that solves nagging problem. This is where you get to kind of poke the bruise again, like we were talking about earlier, when people have that nagging problem or a recurring problem or something that just won't go away, that they've tried lots of different ways to deal with it. So like, finally, an ear cream that eliminates, what do we say? Your dog's ear infections for good, right?
Yeah, this works exceptionally well for very competitive markets because there's 40 million dog treat companies out there, but what people really want is a dog treat that isn't filled with crap and is good for your dog. So finally a healthy dog treat that solves your dog's ear infection. We're sticking with Junior's ear infection. Finally, in our case, it was like finally a lead generation strategy that turns leads from cold to warm. That's not what I wrote. That's what I should have wrote. I'm saying it out loud now.
Yeah,
what I wrote was finally a lead gen strategy that delivers 45 qualified leads a month. But yeah, I should have taken the extra split second on some of this stuff. But hey, I think that's why the top two or three are the top two or three, because they don't require, like, it's easier to get a good, catchy, memorable tagline without needing to think a layer deep. So maybe stick with those, the ones that I will reveal on this show or in my newsletter, which you can sign up for below probably. I don't know where you're watching this.
Is it still growthdaily.com? The easiest way to sign up for the newsletter?
Growthdaily.com, marketingmax.com, either one in the top right corner. Growth Daily should forward to marketingmax.com. We sunset the Growth Daily website earlier this year and are now just going all in on marketingmax.com.
Awesome.
We should do a whole other breakdown on that. That has really proven to be a huge success. The website is so ugly. Like, I designed it myself in a tool that 99.9% of people have never heard of for a very weird, complicated reason why I chose that tool. But it's very ugly, and it has 3x'd our inbound leads for both the agency and the newsletter side of the business.
We've got to break that down for sure.
Yeah. So we'll cover that in another episode. And to Logan's point, we had scheduled to talk about one of my friend's businesses that hit $50 million in top line revenue in the second year, all on the back of Facebook ads and e-commerce business. But I think we'll save that for either a breakdown next time, or I'm going to actually try to get this gentleman on as first guest that Logan and I can chat with. So yeah, I think that rounds out our top 10.
Yep.
As always, if you have any questions or thoughts, hit up me on Twitter, Marketing Max, Logan Lyles on LinkedIn, and be sure to subscribe so that you can tune in to the next episode, the next few episodes, where we'll hopefully have my buddy on to talk about how he built his $50 million business in 2 years. And we'll be bringing you more marketing insights here shortly. Anything else, Logan? You normally do the wrap ups. How did I do?
That's it, man. Hey, I like you stepping in on the wrap up, and I think that's a good call to action. Stay subscribed, keep following. And if we didn't win the bet, let us know. Hit us up and tell us why the episode sucked. Otherwise, stay subscribed. We're gonna do that breakdown of hitting a big milestone in just 2 years, maybe next week. So stay tuned.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Max show. It takes me and my team hours to produce it every single week, but it only takes you 15 seconds to hit that share button and text it to a friend, drop it in a Slack group, or share it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or any of your favorite social platforms. I appreciate you taking the time to check out my content. Have an awesome day.